Today, I'd like to teach you how to find the mass percents or the percent compositions of each element inside of copper 1 nitrite. In order to do so, we first have to write down or find the mass of the entire compound, and then it's going to be easy peasy from there, so watch how fast this is. Bam! So the first step is to write down the elements we see in the compound, right? So we see a copper element, we see nitrogen, and we see oxygen. Next is then to write down the number of atoms. That's where the subscripts come into play. So at the bottom of copper, there's an invisible 1 down there. So there's 1 copper, also 1 nitrogen, because there's another invisible 1. And at the bottom of oxygen, there's a 2. So that means there are 2 oxygen atoms. Next is then to find the mass of the element. Where do we find that? You got it. Periodic table. Let's take a look. Copper is 63.55, nitrogen is 14.01, oxygen is 16. These masses can be in grams per mole or AMU, depending upon if you need molar mass or molecular mass. Almost forgot what I was doing. So let's write them down, right? So copper here is going to be 63.55. Nitrogen was about 14.01, and oxygen is 16. If you use 14 here, nobody's gonna care. It's not a problem. All right. So then, to find the total mass of the element now, let's say for copper, you're going to simply multiply these two values on a cross. All right. So that's simply 63.55. Then multiply this for nitrogen, so the total mass of the nitrogen here is 14.01, and the total mass of oxygen is then 32, all right, 32.00. And then we're simply going to add this column on up now to find the total mass of the entire element, all right, or excuse me, entire compound, not the element. So when we add those together, it's going to be 109.56. Vocabulary always gets me, but what are you going to do? And that was the first step of the process to finding the percent composition, right? To find the total mass. Now that I found the total mass, I'm going to add a column to the table, and it's going to be easy peasy from here. Bam. So to find the mass percent or the percent composition of, let's say, copper, we're going to take the total mass of that copper and divide it by the total mass of the compound. All right, so we're looking at this particular column, and I don't really care about any other column now. So this is going to be 63.55, divided then by 109.56, multiply that by 100, and that's going to be now our percent, okay? Simple percent calculation, part over whole times 100. So when we do that for copper, the percentage here works out to be roughly about 58.00%, all right? I'm going to go out to 2 decimal places for this. And same thing for nitrogen. Total mass of the nitrogen, 14.01, divided by 109.56, multiply that by 100, and here we go. So it works out to be about 12.79 or so percent. And then oxygen is going to be the total mass of that oxygen, which is 32. Forget the zeros. 109.56 on the bottom. Multiply that by 100. And then your percent is going to work out to be 29.21%. And if you add these together, if you add the exacts together, percentages, that is, you should equal exactly 100%. Just if you added the rounded values, it might not come out exactly to it. It kind of does depend on, how you rounded it. But it should come out basically by 100th. Anyway, enough chitter-chatter. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you can like and subscribe, it'd be awesome. We really do appreciate that very, very much. It helps us out tremendously. And yeah, just a simple click of the button. Click the button. Click of the button. Click, click, click. Click, click. And now you're clicking off. And so am I.